Hey, astronauts, welcome to the Digital Galaxy Podcast. I'm your pilot, Justin.
And I'm your co pilot, Paul. Buckle up because today in episode 33, we're discussing vaccine passports. The information in this episode comes from CBS News, CNN, Business Insider, Fox Business, and MSN. Justin, can you fill the crew in on why the discussion of vaccine passports has been so heated lately?
Yeah, absolutely. So, with so many Americans that already had the COVID-19 vaccination, there's been discussions about apps or some ways to store your vaccine passport. And that vaccine passport is just literal proof that you're fully vaccinated. So far, there have been two emerging schools of thought on the topic. One, create a non-government system to allow people to book vaccinations, cruises, flights, etc. safely if they've been vaccinated. And two, the other school of thought is that it's none of your business.
Both, I guess, can be valid points, but according to CBS News, Dr. Anthony Fauci of the CDC is saying that the government won't be requiring the vaccine passport for businesses and travel in the private sector. He does say this, though, quote, I doubt that the federal government will be the main mover of a vaccine passport concept. He did say that the government, quote, may be involved in making sure things are done fairly and equitably, but I doubt if the federal government is going to be the leading element of that, end quote.
So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity for app creators or businesses to jump on the idea of creating an app that tracks or stores information. In fact, some already are. According to MSM, quote, New York authorities are testing a digital health pass powered by blockchain technology in partnership with computer science company IBM. End quote. Businesses like stadiums, movie theaters, music venues, gyms may require such a document to prove that you and other people are vaccinated. So far, this is a voluntary app and service. It's not required or mandated by the state.
Yeah, I think it definitely creates some opportunity for developers or other businesses to create something that may be used by a lot of states or even countries overseas. However, as you mentioned earlier, there is a second school of thought, and some state governments think that this information should be private and it shouldn't matter if you're vaccinated or not.
Well, according to Fox Business, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed an executive order that the state would not allow any sort of vaccine passport by the state government or any of the businesses in their operations. DeSantis said that the vaccine passports, quote, reduce individual freedoms and will harm patient privacy, end quote. The executive order directly affects state government agencies in Florida, so private businesses could technically institute their own policies.
Yeah, so far, Florida isn't the only state that has issue with the idea. Texas Governor Greg Abbott followed suit with his own order, which forbids Texas agencies from requiring a vaccine for any service. According to CNN, Governor Abbott said this quote, government should not require any Texan to show proof of vaccination and reveal private health information just to go about in their daily lives, end quote. So regardless if your state or country is requiring a vaccine passport, we do have some questions about how they work. So Justin, can you fill the crew in on how something like this could actually work?
Yeah, obviously you'll have to get the vaccine first, register on the app, and it could be, produce a QR code or something similar. That the restaurant or establishment could then scan themselves. According to Business Insider, Israel has been issuing their version called Green Passes since February. According to the article, quote, Israelis issued their ID or passport number, date of birth, and approval for their healthcare provider to verify that the person had received their vaccine, end quote. So far, Israel and the UK and most of Europe have either rolled out the passports or are actively working on one.
hmm Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that like a Facebook or a Google hasn't taken something like this on already. They already have a lot of our information in their databases. Maybe they don't want to deal with the government or having that sort of sensitive information or data, stored on their servers because it could leak or be hacked or could raise some privacy issues down the road.
I could see counterfeit apps or even fake IDs becoming a thing so you can see a movie or a concert.
Right.
CNN did offer some ideas on how this data should be handled. They say it should be decentralized and open source, it
Mhm.
should have a non digital paper option, it should not allow companies or governments to track a person's movement. And I completely agree with that. I mean, I've already seen people talking about, oh, get your fake COVID vaccine card. I'm like, dude, the virus is, or not the virus, not the virus is not free, but
Yeah.
the
Well, technically it
well,
is.
yeah, but the vaccination is free. Why would you pay money for a
Exactly.
fake card? But hey,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see what states kind of get behind it. Like we said, some states are already, totally against it. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see if they can actually develop something that can work for all of us. We'll see.
yeah, it's just another thing for our country to debate over.
Absolutely. So, in summary, countries like Israel and the UK have already started using vaccine passports in their countries, while the United States and the rest of the world are currently developing systems of their own. There's been a lot of talk about privacy issues when it comes to mandating a vaccine passport to use services. Some states already have taken action to ban them, and others have been working with private companies to see how they would work.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Don't forget to follow our channels on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. You can also find this episode in the written form on our website, digitalgalaxypodcast.com. This episode was created by Clearo, a social media app where you are in charge of your data and community. Check it out at clearo.app. Thanks for coming along on our journey, and we'll see you guys in the next one.